So there we go. Welcome in to game number 6. We're on, what is this? GSL Atlanta Space Bear. Falling down here in the lower left corner as the teal Terran player is playing for the team Guns and Roaches. His team's up 4-1. It's RockinAnakin. And spawning across from him in the 12 o'clock base. In the green color, he's playing Zerg for team Anarchy. He can actually help bring the series back for his team. They can tie in points. However, Guns N' Roaches does already take the title for the week. They do take the win. But he can bring back points for his team, and that's still very important. It is Lesser. TVZ. It's my favorite matchup to cast. I used to just completely hate playing it. But I've gained a little bit of confidence in it. I'm still not great at TVZ, but it's a lot of fun now. And I guess that's all that really matters. Anyway, this map's GSL Atlanta Space Bear, which I actually hate for Terran players. I personally never want to play on the map. Anyway, the reason I call it's actually GSL Atlanta Space Bear, but it's a bear. If you look at the mini-map, I'm just highlighting, these are the eyes right here. They got little ears. And then its nose is this little dark area that you see on the mini-map. And it's got little hands. Like, it's adorable. It's the most adorable bear. Not too much happening. RockinAnakin actually going to go for a gas geyser. So this may be a reactor to Hellion expand. Kind of old school for RockinAnakin, but nothing too out of the ordinary. Lesser, meanwhile, going to go for the 15 hatchery. This gets scouted immediately by a Terran player, and he'll head up the ramp and start looking for the pool timing, which is right now. He's going to hide his SCV up here. This is interesting. You can get tricky with this SCV if he builds a bunker up here, and then sends a Reaper up this little cliff, which is actually the only place it can get up. All of these places are actually blocked off, in case you're wondering. The Reaper can get up this little cliff right here. You can stick a Reaper in a bunker and start hitting a spawning pool from here. That would be really cute. I don't know if that's exactly what he's going to do. He has to use his gas or something. Looks like he's actually messed up, maybe overplayed his wall in here. But it does look like it's going to be a tech lab of some sort coming down, probably after the second Marine. And yeah, he hit 100 gas there. There's the factory. Okay, so I'm entirely wrong. This could be basically anything now from RockinAnakin. I was really hopeful that we'd see a little bit of shenanigans, but I guess not. Lesser, meanwhile, has his first gas geyser. Going to transfer down some drones. He's got his first couple of Zerglings out on the map, which he'll send around, probably secure. Watchtower, just check to see if his opponent's expanded, where he's expanded. A lot of really great scouting, things like that. A couple of things on the way. We'll see if Lesser does 4 or 6 queen opening, as is kind of standard, or if he'll just stick with the less standard, but used to be more common, 2. So we'll keep on that. You see the reactor coming down on the barracks. It does look kind of like reactor to Hellion. No. Tech lab. Huh. So really early siege tank from RockinAnakin. This is really interesting, especially since he's not even walled off. Everything, or the lack of expansion, I should say, scouted already by Lesser, and he's suiciding in this Overlord, looking to see what his opponent's up to on one base. He sees the barracks at the front and turns around. Heh. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Did he see the... No. Anyway, 2 gas now for RockinAnakin. He's getting very early siege tank. The first siege tank is going to pop in about 6 minutes. No siege mode as of yet. Looks like an Overlord was taken down somewhere, although I'm not sure where. Or an extractor trick. That could be possible as well. But Lesser just droning up. If you look right now, 32 on now. He's built Baneling Nest, but a bunch of drones against not a lot of SCV. A couple more Zerglings out now. We'll be able to take down this SCV finally. The RockinAnakin, a good for what he's doing. He's Baneling and crawler at the front. So he knows his opponent's being pretty defensive so far. And this looks like it might be kind of an old school 3 tank push from RockinAnakin. where you just get a bunch of Marines, you get pretty early siege mode on your siege tanks, and you just move out with 3 siege tanks. That's the key number. It was a really popular build in beta and early on, and I wonder if that's what he's going to do. Lesser sees that there's no attention, no Wallen back here, so he should be planning for defense. We see he's even throwing down these Evo chambers. I think he's really worried about Hellions and perhaps Banshees are the 2 big worries on his mind right now, which is kind of odd because that's not what's going to be headed for. RockinAnakin is throwing down an expansion. That's actually spotted by Lesser. That's going to put his mind a little bit at ease. He's still going to have to defend very well against this push. There's the 3 tanks that I was talking about, and we'll see if he does move out. He should move out, and I'm not sure why he isn't. There he goes, just gathering everything up. He has the supply block now at 51, and that Zergling will spot this move out. Seeing 3 siege tanks is going to be really worrying, I think, for Lesser. He doesn't have very many units right now. He's throwing down that infestation pit, but that's not going to be there to help him. And this is a really tough spot for Lesser now. 12 Zerglings on the way will bring his total up to 17, as long as this doesn't get taken out. 16. And this is going to be really tough to hold if RockinAnakin just decides to go for the natural. He is spreading out his Zerglings very nicely, and the creep spread's very good. He'll be able to at least delay this push a little bit because the Terran player won't want to get directly onto the creep. But the Marine's going to come in. He sees only a handful of Zerglings here, and he needs to move in. Siege up right now. He needs to just tank damage, I guess. Banelings coming in from Lesser. Those are going to be kind of his last-ditch effort. More Zerglings coming in now. Marines do a good job helping out their siege tank friends. 2 Banelings do finish, but 3 of them were taken down, and now Lesser in a lot of trouble. The one Spine Collar at the front being shelled now. Siege tanks doing a lot of damage to these Evo chambers. Will this also want to upgrade finish? As that can help out quite a bit. We'll keep an eye right now. The siege tank's doing a lot. He's actually going to clean up the creep first, it looks like. And the upgrade, oh, it doesn't finish. So that will deny that upgrade for Lesser. Getting 24 more Zerglings now, getting ventral sacks to try and drop some of the Zerglings on top of the siege tanks, maybe. But he doesn't have pneumatized carapace. Pathogen glands has started now. That's a really nice round by the Zerglings. He's tanking damage a little bit with the drones. All of these Marines will get cleaned up. That's a really nice hold by Lesser. Wow. Just really nicely done. The Marines were just a little bit separated from the siege tanks, and that allowed Lesser to get the Zerglings in and surround the siege tanks, not take any more damage from that. You see the reinforcements not trailing across the map, so he's really only on that first initial force, while Lesser was able to build up that Zergling count, and that was really well played by Lesser. Rather than panicking, he just sat back, made enough units, and was able to break out. And now he's up 45 drones to 27 SCVs, because it looks like RockinAnakin is not actually building SCVs behind this. Macro kitties. This is a gold level game if you're interested, just at the positioning of our 2 players. He's finally being made down at the neutral, but not by the main command center, so only 1 at a time to try and catch up to this insane drone production. And Lesser in a really good spot. We see he's setting up Zerglings. He's going to check the front. He may be able to get a couple of these siege tanks for free. It doesn't look like that's quite going to be the case. It will get cleaned up, and instead of sacrificing a lot of those Zerglings for nothing, Anakin does stim after the fact, and that doesn't actually help him out at all. So now these Marines kind of hurt. I don't think we have a starport. No. Nope, no starport yet from RockinAnakin, and really the lack of SCVs starting to hurt it. We see Lesser now with the supply lead 77 to 74. He's making only units currently. 4 infestors on the way. He still has those vengeful sacks if he chooses to use them, which is a really interesting upgrade to have. He made an infestor drop, the Brofester hit squad, as popularized by Destiny. There's 4 infestors, and you just throw out a whole bunch of infested Terrans. But we'll see where Lesser wants to go from here. We see RockinAnakin. Looks like he's trying to hide his move out, but I think it was spotted. I'm going to hazard a guess and say that it was spotted, as I hit the wrong button. at the time. Or maybe not. All the units streaming to the middle of the map. He may try to cut them off here, but this isn't going to be the best positioning for Lesser. It does set up a natural flank. All of his reinforcements right now will pop out down here by the natural, and his other units will be coming up here. Okay, he did spot it. Good, good, good. And now, RockinAnakin moving in on creep. He does need to set up his siege tanks. Oh no, a lot of them getting caught in the back. Again, the flank from the Zerglings doing a lot. He picks off one siege tank already, and Fungal's coming down. Only hit a couple of the Marines, but they do go down. There's no medevacs to heal them, so any damage taken from Fungal is permanent. Now the third being shelled, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. Infested Terrans coming out, a bunch of Zerglings, and they should be able to clean everything up. They get on top of the siege tanks. Marines not helping out too much. Infested Terrans clean everything up. He does lose the third, which is important, but now an 81 supply lead to 72. Lesser still making more Zerglings, making a couple more drones as well. He's got the bank to be able to take a third and a fourth, whereas RockinAnakin has really nothing in the bank. You see still a nice force from the Terran player. He could do a follow-up push in a couple of minutes after denying that third, but it looks like Lesser just kind of wants to end the game. Making Banelings in the middle of the map, Zergling, Baneling, Infestor, great combination of units, and this is kind of a classic matchup. No medevacs out, and RockinAnakin actually making Marauders. There's finally the first two medevacs going to be the saviors of the Terran army. Lesser does need to take a third. He needs to take a fourth, which he still hasn't yet. Still sitting on 1,800, 1,200, which is kind of a ridiculous amount of resources. Armory now finishing up for RockinAnakin, which means he'll be able to get those 2-2 upgrades for his Marine, as well as start on his mech upgrades. We see 0-0 still for Lesser after having his 2 Evo chambers killed during the initial push. He does have them refinished, although just not using them yet. More Infestors streaming across the map, and those are going to be the key unit. If RockinAnakin's able to deal with the Infestors and target them down, he'll have a pretty good engagement. If he can't, well, there's just not enough medevacs really to try and heal everything back from the Fungals. And Fungals, then Baneling hit, of course, just kills the Marines. So we see Zerglings checking around the map, making sure there's no hidden base from the Terran player. He's already got the one Zergling spotting the third. So this is turning into a 2-base play, and RockinAnakin probably going to get here maxed out and then try to move out with the best army that he can muster on 2 bases. I think he's feeling a little bit contained, even though he really isn't. Third base now, finally on the way from Lesser. Nearly done now. 1-1 as well for the Zerglings. It looks like there was a drop. May have got a couple workers, but not too much damage done. Sorry that I missed that. The teal's actually really tough for me to see on the mini-map. But yeah, let's actually check in on the APM of our players. 98 APM for Lesser to 16 from RockinAnakin. Boom, crank through everything for gold level players. Hive now on the way for Lesser, and Broodlords are going to be fantastic against this. There's no Vikings, there's only one starport. It looks like RockinAnakin wants to do some pressure though, filling up 4 medevacs full of units. We even see a tank included, a couple of 2 tanks, a couple of Marauders as well. And this isn't going to do, actually it might do damage. Now the army moving out to the middle of the map for Lesser. He's still keeping map control, which is really good. He doesn't have Baneling roll, which may cost him later on. That's an important upgrade to have. In the 4 medevac drop, though, from RockinAnakin, he needs to make sure to salvage as many units as he can, because with only 4 medevacs full of units, you're not going to trade too effectively. Lesser continuing his creep spread on this bottom part. We see there's still this gigantic gap in his creep spread, but other than that, doing a decent job with it. Income, nope. 4 medevacs, just going to pause for a little bit and reflect. Marauder and a Marine trying to jump in the medevacs, but of course there's no room for them. Oh. And it looks like that might have been spotted at the watchtower. Judging by the way these units are headed back home, there's still so many Zerglings and Banelings and Infestors back home. This drop shouldn't do too much as soon as it is dropped. 4th base now taken by Lesser. This is always of note because this gas geyser is ridiculous. It's a high-yield Vespene geyser. You harvest it with 4 workers rather than 3, and it returns, I believe it's 7 Vespene gas per trip. And there's Fungal on the medevacs. He's actually not dropping these units. all of them going to go down for free. More fungals coming down, and that's a huge catch. And look at the supply drop, 166 out of 115, and the resource is lost now in favor of the Zerg. He has a fourth base, the third base now being taken by RockinAnakin, but Lesser just put in a good position by catching those medics. Again, not too much happening other than Max Fire being thrown down now, as well as Adrenal Glands going to be the two techs of choice on High Tech. He's still only at 1-1 upgrades, but it's okay because his opponent only has 1-1 as well and 1-0 on his mech. And now finally the 2-2 on the way. So it's really late from both players, the ever-popular 22-minute 2-2 upgrade. And we see RockinAnakin has quite a production, but he's really only able to use Marines rather than the Marauders, which he'd need if there's an Ultra tech switch, which I don't think there is. This is he trying to get to the middle of the maps, immediately taken down. Lesser just taking map control, 170 supply to 135, and this is a pretty insane amount of infestors. There's 15 infestors right now. And there's nothing here that really deals with infestors. There's no ghosts. Tanks and Marauders do okay just because they don't die in 1 or 2 fungals. But you do need medevacs, you need that sort of thing. RockinAnakin actually going to get a little bit aggressive. He's going to go for that third base again. He may even siege up back here and try and shell the fourth base. But this should be spotted fairly quickly by the Zerg, just because he's walking on creep. We now see Lesser maxed out. He has Ultralisks on the way, as well as the chitinous plating upgrade. And the Greater Spire as well. Everything falling into place for our Zerg player. Now scanning in here, taking out some of the creep, but he set himself up into a flank path again. And these siege tanks... Oh, there's a big fungal from the infestor in the front. Siege tanks getting cleaned up in the back. No siege mode. There's finally a siege coming up from RockinAnakin. He'll lose a couple of his units, but he's losing so much. Look at the supply drop. That one hit does quite a bit. The Ultralist comes in, though. 163 supply now, 104. These couple of medevacs trying to run away with their low health. And the fungal actually catches 2 more. Boom, they explode. One infested Terran a little bit too late. He's going to pop out and wonder kind of what happened. And now the army moving across the map for Lesser. He lost a lot of his Zerglings and a lot of his Banelings, but keeping that core army intact. All but one of his infestors survived. The Ultralisk still alive. And moving into the third base. It is a planetary, so this may be a little bit difficult to take down. But in come the Banelings. Boom, detonating on the Marines. 193 supply now to 177. Infested Terrans coming out. He has so many infested Terrans available to him. They're unupgraded, unfortunately, but should be able... I don't know. It's going to target on a couple of these SCVs. Actually targets down the medevac. That was cute. Lesser now pulling back just for now. He could probably just run in the front and kill his opponent. But a lot of his supply tied up in these infestors. He has so much energy, though. If he gets enough units just to tank for them, he'll be in a great spot. This is actually enough units to tank for them. Chitinous plating is finished, +3 ground carapace on the way. We don't see that missile attacks, though. So these are melee attacks, excuse me. So these are 4-2 upgraded Ultras, 5 Broodlords on the way. I don't know exactly where they are. I don't know about that one. But there are 5 Broodlords on the way. And this little Terran army getting caught in the middle of the map. That's going to get taken down. Look at the fungals. Oh, that's disgusting. And 181 supply now to 78. And Lesser going to move in. He's only got 3 Ultralisks left. So I guess that little fight did enough damage. In come the Broodlords, though. This is a mostly infestor army for Lesser, but that doesn't matter too much. In come the Ultras, nice fungal on top of these Marines. He will be able to take those down. Just needs to take care of these siege tanks, which he does. Most of the infestors still left alive. GG from RockinAnakin, and Lesser's taking another game for Team Anarchy. That brings it back to 4-2, and now with the ace match, if Anarchy's ace is able to 2-0 win, then the set will be tied at 4 in points. Guns N' Roaches has already taken, of course, the set, so they improved to 2-2 on the season. Anarchy falls to 1-2. But the map points do come into play later on when it comes toward playoff qualifying and that sort of thing. And both of these teams should be able to hunt come that time. So every little victory matters. And we'll head into the ace match. It'll be a best of 3 Platinum Series. And please stay tuned for that. You're watching CTL casted by Meristematic.